Hi, everybody. This is Craig, the water guy. I have over 33 years' experience in the water treatment industry and servicing, installing, repairing, and engineering systems. And I want to go over water softener repair with you. There's some folks out there that are worried that if they purchase a water softener online from a company like ours, qualitywatertreatment.com, that they're not going to be able to service or repair their water softener if they have a problem. And I'm here to let you know that water softeners in general don't need any sort of maintenance, regular maintenance. Basically, you just add the salt to the salt tank every once in a while. And if you have a high efficiency system like our SoftPro systems, you might have to do that once or twice a year, which is pretty simple by just removing the lid off of the top of the salt tank. I'll show you a picture here in a second of that. And This lid right here, it pulls right off. You just grab it with your hand, lift it off, and dump your salt in. That's it. That's all you need to do. Besides that, there's really nothing else you need to do on a regular basis as far as maintaining your water softener. So you don't need a service technician to come out and do that for you. Um, as far as repairs go, okay, so water softeners in general, especially a good high quality water softener such as a Fleck water softener that we also carry on our website here, or the Softpro water softener. Good high quality water softeners generally don't need repairs. It's not very often. So when it does occur, you would basically just give us a call or shoot us an email or use our live chat on our website. And we're all very trained in water softeners and water treatment in general. So we can troubleshoot the problem with you and figure out what the issue is and walk you through that. If there's a part that's needed, we could get you the part too. So that's not an issue either. You don't need a technician to come out to your home to do that. We're very well trained and we can walk you through it. As far as working on softeners, they're very simple. There's not a whole lot to them, so they're not difficult. You don't have to be extremely mechanically inclined to work on them. As far as your standard issues, when you do have a problem with softener, one of the main calls that we get is, "Hey, my water's not soft. I don't know why." Uh, 9 out of 10 times it's because the salt inside the salt tank has bridged on you. What I mean by that is, I'll show you the picture here again of the salt tank. Is that the salt has hardened up over the top of the water. So as you can see here, you have your salt down at the bottom here, below the salt. You have a grid plate that the salt sits on top of. Sometimes you don't have a grid plate, but in most cases you do. And then inside here is your water. Water level usually sits about 12 inches, 15 inches up from the bottom, and your salt sits inside that water. So over a period of time, what can happen, especially if you fill your salt tank all the way up and you're going through it really slow, which we don't recommend that you do. We usually recommend that you put about 2, maybe 3 bags at a time, so your tank is about half full of salt. But what can happen is that this salt hardens up. So what you have here is, let's pretend this bottom part is water right here going across, and this top part is the salt. And there's a bridge. So your salt has hardened up right here, so it stops here. There's no water touching that salt at all. Okay, it's what we call a salt bridge. So what happens there is when the system goes to regenerate, it can't regenerate with salty water, which means that your resin bed here is not getting brine with the sodium, and so your water is not going to be salt. Simple problem. You remove the lid from the brine tank, take a broom handle or a handle from a shovel, whatever you have handy, and gently tap the salt down and just keep tapping it until you hear it break up and you hear the salt fall into the water. When that happens, you wait 2 hours to let the salt dissolve, and you go up to your control valve and you start a manual regeneration. Let the system finish and you're back in the soft water. It might take a day or two for the soft water to work through all your pipes and your hot water heater, but you'll be back in business. So 9 out of 10 times when we get a call again, my water's not soft, that's generally the case. The other thing that you have that we get is that my water's not soft, and I don't know what's going on, and the bridge isn't the issue. Then generally, what we do is we make sure that people's bypass valves. So in the back of the system, you have a bypass valve where your water goes in and out, and that may have mistakenly been turned to the bypass mode by somebody. So check that first. Make sure that both the bypass handles and the service mode. The other thing that we find sometimes is that the meter is not metering the water. So either the meter cable came unplugged for some reason, or the meter assembly itself is plugged. So we can walk you through on how to basically take that off and clean it, put it back in. That is more found on your older Fleck models, like your old 5600 SXTs. That's a lot of our competition still sells using what they call a turbine meter in the back, which is a small turbine wheel, which does have a tendency of jamming up on you. We changed a few years back on our Flex systems to use the paddle wheel, so we don't no longer have those issues. But on your older systems or systems you purchased from one of our competitors, you will find those problems. So those are the issues that you generally find when the water is not soft. The other issue you'll find is this system is fairly old. And if you're on city water or well water, you have iron in the water, or city water, you have a lot of chlorine. The chlorine can deteriorate that resin bed and turn it into basically mesh. Iron can foul it to where it'll start plugging your system up. Either of those scenarios will happen. You'll experience low water pressure in your home. If that happens, you can simply put your system to bypass, see if the water pressure gains. If it gains, you know the problem's within your system, and 99% of the time your resin bed needs to be replaced, because once it turns into mesh or like that, or it gets plugged up, it's going to restrict your water pressure. The other common issue is on your older systems, after a while, you're going to find that water will continuously run out the drain. So you have a little trickle going out your drain line through from your water softener. And so your water's not soft because the system bypasses itself when it's in that regeneration mode. That basically means that the piston spacer assembly kit inside your softener needs to be replaced. And that's a fairly easy job to do. There's actually videos on YouTube through Pentair Corporation. On your Fleck models, your Softail models are the same way. You change your piston assembly the same exact way. There's no difference there. So we could direct you to those videos, and it'll walk you through the process, and we can get you the parts. Besides that, the only other things that could go wrong is maybe the timer motor will burn out easy, as a couple of wire nuts, a couple of screws, you pull it out, pop it back in, you're ready to go. Or the printed circuit board will go out, and that's the same thing. As a couple of wires you pull off, a couple of screws, pull the old PC board out, pop the new one in, and you're ready to go. So there's really not a whole lot to them, folks, and I hope that eases your mind about purchasing water softener from us at qualitywatertreatment.com online. Thank you very much, and have a great day.